No one should have to worry about their means of getting to work, school, or the grocery store and having that car stolen from them. And that is why in the budget, we have put in place a robust plan to crack down on auto theft and to protect Canadians, to protect the people here in Brampton. Our Budget Implementation Act includes measures such as providing law enforcement and prosecutors with the tools they need to protect Canadians from having their cars stolen. Specifically, this includes more robust criminal offenses relating to auto theft and new restrictions on the possession and distribution of devices used to steal vehicles. This is about taking the tools away from people who are committing these crimes, making us unsafe.
We want to build on the joint enforcement actions that have taken place since the National Summit on Combating Auto Theft, and to that end, with my colleagues, I'm pleased to unveil our new National Action Plan on Combating Auto Theft. The plan focuses on 3 areas in distinct federal jurisdiction. Firstly, and my colleague Arif will talk about this, we will introduce new legislative and regulatory changes that will include tougher penalties for auto theft under the Criminal Code and strict regulation of devices that are used in the theft of vehicles. Secondly, we will enhance intelligence and information sharing between governments, law enforcement agencies, and international police and customs officials. This will allow us to identify stolen vehicles more quickly at our ports and at rail yards, including the intermodal terminal here in the city of Brampton, and this obviously before the vehicles can be sent abroad. Thirdly, we will strengthen cooperation between police, border officials, border security officials, and the port, rail, and shipping industries. This will allow more containers to be examined and will include the use of more innovative detection technologies. We're buying, for example, new scanners, leading-edge technologies. We're redeploying other existing scanners to ensure that we have the utmost collaboration between the Canada Border Services Agency and regional, provincial, and of course national police partners as well. I know that for Mayor Brown and for his council and for my colleagues from this area, we've had many conversations about how we can quickly deploy this scanner technology to the intermodal facilities. You can imagine if we can intercept a stolen vehicle here in Brampton, for example, at a rail yard, it's more effective, less expensive, and from a law enforcement perspective, much more efficient than doing that at the Port of Montreal before it's loaded on a ship to be exported.
We're talking about changes that are directly in our government's purview, directly in my purview, with respect to the criminal code. We are adding new offenses targeting auto theft and its links to violence and to organized crime. There are new offenses for the possession and distribution of a device used for committing auto theft, such as key programming machines. We're also proposing a new offense that targets the ringleaders of most auto thefts, which is, as I mentioned, organized crime. And the reason why this is attractive to organized criminals is because they can not only sell these vehicles abroad or domestically, but they can actually then use that money for their nefarious purposes. That means you need to attack where the money is going, which means tackling money laundering. We're proposing a new offense that will target those who launder the proceeds of crime at the direction of organized crime or in association with a criminal organization. Those measures will help in the fight not just against organized crime, but terrorist organizations as well. They will allow courts to do things like issue an order to require a person to keep an account open to assist in the investigation of a suspected criminal offense. So that may sound counterintuitive at first blush, but let me walk you through it. Right now, banks often unilaterally close an account when they suspect criminal activity. This can hinder police investigations. We've got the head of the RCMP standing right behind me. We've been in constant touch with folks like the RCMP and police of jurisdiction, and they've told us that their investigations need to follow the money path. That's what we are doing with these targeted changes, by targeting that particular issue. We're also doing more. Courts would be allowed to issue a production order for multiple specified dates through what's called a repeat production order. That would enable law enforcement to require someone to produce specified information to support an investigation into a criminal offense on multiple predetermined dates over a set period of time. Again, that will help law enforcement trace the monetary path. The last thing I will mention is that what this means to me as a father. I'm a father of 2 young boys, and we know that there's been a lot of talk about youngsters being involved in this criminality. But what I think is really critical is thinking about who is directing those youngsters, who's directing that teenager, who's orchestrating and providing the resources for that teenager. The key issue here is targeting the root causes of the criminal behavior. So what we're proposing through this legislation is a new aggravated factor at sentencing. It would be applied to an adult offender who involves a young person in the commission of the crime. Our goal is to get at the root cause of the crime. The root cause is not the actual teenager doing the theft. The root cause is the adult criminal who is leading them or in fact forcing them to do that crime.